Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanacharya Yamuna Tira Vanacharya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Before we go too far. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 14th chapter, the Forest of Enjoyment, text 42. Tasyedam upagayanti Arshabhasye rajase Manasapi mahatmanaha Nanuvatmana hati nripo Makshikeva garutmataha. Somebody go for it. Tasyedam upagayanti Asabhasye rajase Makshikeva garutmataha. Tasyedam upagayanti Ashabhasye rajase Manasapi mahatmanaha Nanuvatmahati nripo Makshikeva garutmataha. Tasyedam upagayanti Makshikeva garutmataha. Tasyedam upagayanti Tasya of Jad Bharat. Idam, this glorification. Upagayanti, they sing. Ashabhasya, of the son of Rishabhadev. Iha, here. Rajarishe, of the great saintly king. Manasapi, even by the mind. Mahatmanaha, of the great personality Jad Bharat. Na, not. Anuvatma aharti, able to follow the path. Nripaha, any king. Makshika, a fly. Iva, like. Garutmataha, of Garuda, the carrier of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki. Having summarized the teachings of Jad Bharat, Shukadev Goswami said, "My dear King Parikshit, the path indicated by Jad Bharat is like the path followed by Garuda, the carrier of the Lord. and ordinary kings are just like flies. Flies cannot follow the path of Garuda. And to date, none of the great kings and victorious leaders could follow this path of devotional service, not even mentally. Purport. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7.3, Manusyanam sahasresu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mamveti tattvataha. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection. And of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. The path of devotional service is very difficult, even for great kings who have conquered many enemies. Although these kings were victorious on the battlefield, they could not conquer the bodily conception. There are many big leaders, yogis, swamis, and so-called incarnations who are very much addicted to mental speculation and who advertise themselves as perfect personalities. But they are not ultimately successful. The path of devotional service is undoubtedly very difficult to follow, but it becomes very easy if the candidate actually wants to follow the path of the Mahajana. In this age, there is the path of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who appeared to deliver all fallen souls. This path is so simple and easy that everyone can take to it by chanting the holy name of the Lord. Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam. Kalo nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gati anyata. We are very satisfied that this path is being opened by this Krishna consciousness movement because so many European and American boys and girls are taking this philosophy seriously and gradually attaining perfection. Jad Guru Shila Prabhupada ki. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanang pavenebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langaite girim yad kripa tamam vande shigurum dinatarinam paramananda madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Translation. Having summarized the teachings of Jad Bharat, Shukadev Goswami said, My dear King Parikshit, the path indicated by Jad Bharat is like the path followed by Garuda, the carrier of the Lord. And ordinary kings are just like flies. Flies cannot follow the path of Garuda. And to date, none of the great kings and victorious leaders could follow this path of devotional service, not even mentally. Today's verse sort of ends a sequence of verses that seeks to place devotional service as the king of all the paths available to anyone who wants liberation or to attain the ultimate goal of life. Generally, the 4 goals of life are what humanity are attracted to. Dharma, to follow religious principles, generally with the aim of achieving some pious goal, some pious merit, to enjoy the fruits of being religious, namely some fame, some prestige, or to go up to the higher planetary systems, heaven. There's heavenly enjoyment, dear devotees, please do not forget. Beautiful gardens, beautiful men and women, ambrosial nectar to drink that invigorates you, give you great potency to enjoy life. Heavenly planets are there. So the Kamakanda section is there. Follow certain rituals. You could find yourself toasting with a glass of soma ras. Can you just imagine what a life? Huh? Then Artha is economic development. As we all know, money is the honey. Yes, money is that key that opens all types of doors for sense enjoyment, which is karma, the goal. One of the goals is to enjoy the senses. And to enjoy the senses, one needs some facilities. And so, Artha and karma are nicely related. Without Artha, then the prospects of enjoying the senses are lessened. Although we understand in Krishna consciousness, in Bhakti, that we only need to keep body and soul together. But not we, Kali Yuga people, no, just keeping body and soul together, how boring. We want to be like stimulated until we pass out, right? Give us something to lift us up until it just flatlines. Boom. Tomorrow, what happened yesterday? Oh my God, I was so, I don't even remember what happened. Sensory overload. Yes, we want to just bombard ourselves. So the weekend is met with great enthusiasm. Finally, no boss around. I am again boss. But actually means the senses are boss. They are the slave masters. They demand. Supply. And then when all of this is kind of frustrated, sense enjoyment, the money is there, it comes and goes. Okay, maybe let's tone it down. Now let's enjoy something more subtle, substantial than some religious enjoyment. Socially, people come to some religious situation. And they may find out about higher types of enjoyment, so that is aspiring for the heavenly planets. And when that is also frustrated, because we heard that the credit card of pious credits also depletes. Kshina punya mataloko vishanti lokam. Again, you have to come back down. So then they want to stop the world and get off. They want liberation, moksha. So these are said to be the 4 goals in material existence. But here we are hearing, no, there's another goal, which is summarized with Lord Chaitanya's teachings as Prema Pumata Mahan, that the goal of attaining love of Krishna. So here it was first mentioned about the saintly persons being the friends of everyone. Text 39. By associating with the saintly persons, one can actually easily attain the goal of life, attain liberation. Because they can cut the chains that hold us down in material existence. And then the point was made that many, many kings who were expert in performing sacrifices, who were competent in conquering other kingdoms, with all that power, with all that expertise, when they failed to conquer their false ego, the idea of I am this body and everything connected to this body is mine, then all they did is just create rivalry amongst each other, and they butchered each other, and Gangamai finished. We hear of Mother Earth also laughing in the Bhagavatam, how the kings, they come here and then we think this is mine, and we fight each other and kill each other, and both come and go and I remain. So she's looking at what a joke. Right? Then we heard about taking shelter of the creeper of Kamakanda, the rope of Kamakanda, that it is not strong enough to pull one out of material existence. Therefore, the need to take shelter of the creeper of Bhakti, or to nurture the creeper of Bhakti, so that it will slowly, gradually come out of this material universe and take shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. And so today, the summary of Jat Bharat's teachings, Shukadev Goswami is telling the king that this is to say this bhakti is actually a very lofty path. It is the path of Garuda. And all these kings, however powerful they are, and all the methods that they try to follow, that is like the path of the flies. So think of Garuda, he can fly interplanetary, he can fly from this universe to the next so swiftly at the will of the Lord. And compared to the fly, I mean, the fly is also quite agile, right? How many times did you try to deal with the fly and end up smacking yourself? But the fly's expertise compared to Garuda, you cannot compare. So bhakti is very rare. This is mentioned in Nectar of Devotion, when the 6 symptoms of bhakti. First is kleshagni, that it relieves one of the burdens of material existence. In fact, that is the first bad. The acharyas say, in fact, that bad is fully realized at nishta, when one is steady. Then one has no more material problems, because one is no longer taking shelter of material desires, steady in devotional service, feel the greatest of relief. Then subhada, one feels great auspiciousness in one's life. Yes, when you feel that now my prospects are very clear, my mind is fixed, the goal is there, and I'm steadily moving, approaching some taste that is really auspicious life. Then it is mentioned that it is moksha laguta krit. Liberation is derided by pure devotional service. No thought of, especially these liberations of merging with the Supreme Lord, Sayujya Mukti. The devotees actually don't accept it. And also they don't perform devotional service, pure devotional service, with the idea that let me get opulences like the Lord, let me get a form like the Lord, let me get on the same planet with the Lord, it's simply to please this personality of Godhead. Anukulyena Krishnanu Shilanam. It's something that is not easy for anyone to really think of, to perform activities without expecting some result. I mean, we can stop to think, what is it that I do without thinking what is the outcome of doing it? We are just hardwired to act based on self-interest, what will I gain? But pure devotional service doesn't even put liberation as a goal. So that is very high. It's not something which can be done by any ordinary fly-like person. It is Sandrananda Visheshatma. It is condensed bliss. Yeah, the idea of bliss is exciting, is attractive. However, you need the right equipment to attain bliss. Not the ecstasies that are chemically made. You can pop a pill and... We were saved from such artificial... Because on television, when they advertised the bliss of chemical-induced highs, drugs, it was so drastic. You see the person stick a needle and then, after a minute, they practically collapsed and they're drooling. I'm happy that they advertised it like that. It didn't look like much enjoyment as a child. It just looked like you are overwhelmed by this thing and then you become useless. And we see in the world now, practically first world countries, it's an epidemic where people are stuck with all these fentanyls and amphetamines and all sorts of... And it's a problem especially where there's more money. And then people can afford all this nonsense. We heard about Zurich, that it is a bit of a cocaine headquarters of Europe. Hey, that's one more tick for the tourist industry of artificial high chasers. Let's go to Zurich. There's a lot of cocaine there. So the living being is naturally pleasure-seeking, ananda maya vyasad. So the fault of seeking pleasure cannot be placed on the living being. What can we do? We are made of ananda. Therefore, we are always chasing pleasure. This is not our fault. We are hardwired to enjoy because we are part and parcel of the supreme enjoyer. The fault is that we have to understand how to enjoy in such a way that our enjoyment doesn't degrade us, but uplifts us. Therefore, the acharyas are advertising that if we connect our consciousness in a spirit of service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is an ocean of enjoyment, Rama is a reservoir of pleasure. So if you can cut a small channel from that reservoir of pleasure, or if you can get a drop from that ocean of pleasure, then your problems of pleasure seeking are solved. But if we connect ourselves to the illusory pleasure platform, then we keep chasing illusory happiness. Here I got it, and open your hand, it's not there. Like kids, they play with these bubble creating thing. What do you call that thing? Cyberplasm.
Soap bubbles.
Exactly. It's a soap bubble, cyber bubble. Yes. And then there's so many bubbles, and kids are just like screaming out of excitement. And they chase. And mommy, I got one. And open, there's nothing. Cannot catch these bubbles. And then the grown-ups, to keep the children fired up about these soap bubbles, then he'll try in a very careful way to catch one, indoctrinating the kids. Actually, you can enjoy catching these bubbles, my child. And the adult probably catches one and shows, oh, everyone's fascinated. Yes, yes, you can see it exists. You can catch it, you can enjoy. So it's this mass consensual trance where we are all convincing each other there's something in material existence. We celebrate so-called catches of bubbles. We print magazines and we list them. Number one, he caught 78 billion bubbles, this one. Yes, and other men and women aspired to catch more bubbles. But these are mentioned to be the zeros of material existence because they are connected to the temporary body. How long can you catch this body? My body, my body. It will soon be consumed by fire or given to the earth for the maggots to eat or for the animals to eat in the forest. So Bhagavatam is offering the path of the Mahajans, the great souls. The great souls are great. Why? Because of their conceptions of life. One is a crippled-minded person who simply aspires for the perishable. But how does a small soul become a great soul when his conceptions become greater than what is being offered in this temporary world? And the Mahajans are, for us, there's, an overabundance of Mahajans. And then there's formalized lists of, 12 Mahajans. Otherwise, too many Mahajans. This is the line of Mahajans. Therefore, one who wants the ultimate good must connect themselves to the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, nate vidu satagatim hi Vishnu turashaye by atamanina. Those who don't know about Vishnu, the Supreme Lord, then they are by atamanina. Naturally, they are externally facing. They hope, they think the real artha, their welfare, the gain is in the external environment. If it is difficult, as it's written here, Prabhupada, it's very difficult, even for great kings. Then after telling us how lofty it is, how it's not cheap, then Srila Prabhupada turns to say, but it becomes very easy when we follow the path of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yes. Ajanu lambito bujo kanakavadato sankirtanai kapitaro kamalaya taksho vishwambaro dijavaro yugadhama palo vande jagat priyakaro karunavataro, the most merciful avatars. They are Sankirtanai Kapitaro. They are the fathers of this Sankirtan movement, Gaura and Nitai. And their path is Kevala Ananda Kanda, simply blissful. Chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, chanting the songs about Lord Krishna, dancing in congregation, taking the remnants of food offered to the personality of Godhead, discussing the glories of that name, of the activities of the Lord in his different incarnations. That path is simple and everyone can take part. And we are seeing just exactly how the Hare Krishna movement is going, which Prabhupada is saying, we are very satisfied that this path is being opened by this Krishna consciousness movement. Because so many Europeans, are you those Europeans? Hare Krishna Europeans. The Hare Krishna movement is here also for you. And we are seeing that the boys and girls, gents and are taking part. And when we look at ourselves, we can evaluate where we great scholars of philosophy, where we great pious performers of sacrifices, where we great givers of charity, philanthropists. Generally not. We know what we were. And somehow or the other now, we are sitting very close at the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead. We've become direct worshippers of the personality of Godhead. We are chanting his most intimate name. We are discussing the private affairs of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we are considered leaders in international spiritual organizations. How? Because of contact with the Mahajan. Mahajana yena gata sapanta. On that path that has been traversed by the great souls, then we can also confidently engage and become elevated. So we see that Bhakti trumps any other path. We discussed previously about Durvasa Muni and Ambarish Maharaj. Ambarish Maharaj is regular Grihastha, but he's Vachamsi Vaikunta Gunanuvana. He is completely absorbed, Savaimana Padara Vindayo, all his senses in devotional service. Durvasa Muni, powerful yogi, mystic. He can perform miraculous activity, but he could not overcome Ambarish, who was directly protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is Bhakti. It is a greater mystic position because it is the position where a boy like Prahlad Maharaj, practically helpless 5-year-old, his father, Hiranyakashipu, powerful demon. He's been given big benedictions by Brahmaji. He simply has to move his eyebrows and all the demigods are like fearful. Oh yes, what can we do? How can we serve you? But Bhakti creates fearlessness. Prahlad Maharaj has no fear. Hiranyakashipu tried to kill him in so many ways. It did not work. That is because he had taken shelter of remembrance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is the part of Bhakti. Haridas Thakur. How is he able to chant the holy name practically 24 hours? By the empowerment of this holy name, which is directly Krishna. And because of his absorption and taste in the holy name of Krishna, then he can avoid Maituna Agara, the chains of sex life. It said within this entire universe, only Narayana and Rishi are free. Everyone else is somehow or the other enchanted by sex desire to smaller or greater degrees. Haridas Thakur was presented that option, but by the power of devotional taste, by the power of prema bhakti, he was not attracted in the least. Instead, he was simply situated in compassion to deliver the fallen souls. So Srila Prabhupada has quoted here, Manusyanam sahasresu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam vedi tatvataham. To underscore the point of the rarity of devotional service. Out of many thousands, how many people are in Switzerland?
8 million?
About 8 million. Zurich?
300,000, 500,000.
Maybe 500,000.
The city itself.
Yeah. So yes, 8. Then we've got Zurich. Then how many people in this temple? And how many in this temple room? And how many at home who are listening? It's never more than 200, maybe festival you get after some time, some people here. So it's very rare that individuals are interested in perfecting their lives. Even when they're interested in perfecting their lives, to just make that the prime aim of life. This is what I'll do. I will not do any other thing. Very rare. And Krishna says, even those who achieve some type of perfection, hardly one knows him in truth. So there is also that obstacle where we may feel, oh, Krishna is so hard to achieve, it's so far. I've put in like 10 days of chanting. It's not working. And and then you think, I should be honest with myself. I've heard that line. We should be honest, not pretend. This is not for me, All these Prahlad Maharajs, Haridas Thakurs, it's another category of people. Guru Maharaj, he specially met Prabhupada. But for me, let me just be honest, I'm just like a Zurich type of person. Let me enjoy what Zurich has to offer, number one in Europe. So there's this trap of Maya where we look at how far we have to go and then discourage ourselves. But another way is to look is how far we've come, how close we are. If out of thousands and millions of people, hardly one takes this path, aren't we on this path? We are here. We are practically at the gate, about to get out of this material universe. And then we can be tripped up by feeling like, oh, it's too far. Because we think Krishna should just come running into our arms. Just bang, yes, Krishna, I got you. No, but Krishna, his whole program is to escape from being captured by his devotees. His whole program is to leave the vision of the devotees. He's always trying to create separation from his devotees. That even the topmost devotees, they are suffering because even when there's union, the fear that Krishna will go is always there. It's worse than when he's actually supposed to be not there for them. So, hardly one knows me in truth, or who can capture Krishna. Yes, pure devotional service is Shri Krishna Kashini. It is the only thing that can attract Krishna when one has pure devotional service. Therefore, the material platform where we are obviously separated from Krishna is favorable for cultivating love and separation. And in that separation, our acharyas explain that Krishna is greatly present, is experienced in greater depth in the heart of the devotee who meditates on what he has lost. What is the example? The wealthy person You hear sometimes someone was in the top whatever and some tricks of the stock market and they lost X amount of billions. And all they can do is think about that money they've lost. So this is not for the flies. This is the path of Garuda. Yes. And so we should try to follow the Garuda type of devotees and try to serve them, hear from them. And then just by the force of their mercy, we can also approach. Otherwise, being big leaders, yogis and swamis, and so-called incarnations who are addicted to speculating about Krishna and trying to increase our so-called name and fame while we're sitting in a rotting material body, it will not help us. But we accept the opportunity gratefully, humbly, try to serve the Mahajans and try to be the menial, humble servant of Srila Prabhupada. Then we will achieve something beyond our wildest dreams. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada is happy writing his achievements, that we are very satisfied that this path is being opened by this Krishna consciousness movement, because so many Europeans and American boys and girls are taking this philosophy seriously and gradually attaining perfection. The mango, although is green, if it stays on the tree, give it time, it will ripen and become very tasty. So let us be that mango attached to the Mahajans. And later on, maybe ripened and offered to Lord Krishna, and he may take a nibble, and that will be the perfection of life. Nibbled by Krishna ki. Gaur Premanande. Yes, any thoughts, any comments? Yes, Mataji.
Well, perhaps it's a stupid question, but I heard when I go forward to Krishna, one step, he comes 1,000 steps to me, or he did already before, and you say he's running away. I don't understand this.
It's a very wonderful question. It's really a sweet question. Yeah, Krishna is crooked, and at the same time, he is the most pious. He's the most faithful, and at the same time, most unreliable. How to solve that is the charm of Krishna. Means Krishna is creating opportunities and facilitating us to come to him more than we even desire. This is a fact. Our desire for Krishna may be very small, but he wants to give us that relationship more than we desire. But the way that he provides this is that once he gives you a drop, right? Krishna is so nice. Then sometimes you come back for the drop, there's nothing. It's as if Krishna has disappeared. You've ever had a good day of japa and you just are convinced, this Maha Mantra, this is the best thing ever. And the next day you sit at the same place and same posture, you start at the same time, and you try to chant like you chanted yesterday, and it's just like cardboard. It's just chewing bricks, no ras. And Krishna seems to have run away. But because he gave you a taste, now you cannot forget how yesterday, wow, connection. And then you come back and try again. So he comes to us, and then again he's running. It's called hard to get. Even in this world, some people are keeping others struggling, playing hard to get. And then at the highest level of relationship, Krishna confessed to the gopis that he is that type of lover, that those that he loves, he makes them cry. Oh, again, what is this? You love me and you're making me cry. But how? Because he always doesn't give them union with himself. He always seems to slip out of their control, so that by them desiring to have him, they enter into a deeper experience of love. So yeah, this is Krishna. He's a very interesting person. Yeah. Thank you for that question. Anyone else also would like to chip in to discuss further this point of her question? I think it's very nice if there's anything.
I think if you do more service, you will feel more connected.
Thank you. Yes. May you still encouraged to chase Krishna? Yeah. That last prayer of the Shikshastakam in the morning, it's just another mystery, It's like, even if you handle me roughly by your embrace, or you make me broken-hearted by not being present before me. Chaitanya Charitamrita talks about even if you trample me under your feet, still, Krishna, you are free to do whatever you want, and you still are my worshipable Lord, unconditionally. Now, the stereotype is that, because God is all love, it means he's just this feather, like a teddy bear that's just trying to hug everyone all the time, and just, everything nice, calm, you're chanting, very nice. But here we're hearing about crushing with his embrace, trampling, or broken-hearted by not being present. But the reaction of the devotee is still, yeah, my worshipful, unconditionally. You're free to do, just. This is transcendental abuse. Everyone's crying, what's going on? Yes.
Is it also working the other way around, that we can hide from Krishna and go out of the relationship and to increase the attraction?
Yes, we see that those who are qualified by pure devotional service, yes, they also create the same type of crying from Krishna, hankering. We get reports in Dwarka how Krishna is miserable, although he's, there's another thing, how is God miserable? But he is in all royal facility with the most beautiful wives, chaste and loving and devoted, dedicated. But they are observing that it's just his body that's just there, his mind is just elsewhere. His head is, they hear him having deep sighs. Those deep sighs when it's just something's not working out right. Yes, he is also harassed by being separated from the residence of Vrindavan. That sometimes Krishna, he makes the plan to come and see Lalita Vishaka Radharani. And because he came late, they shut down his program. Hey, can't come here. Oh, you can't. No. Radharani doesn't want to see you. You are late, and we know where you've been. And he's rejected. And he's going to Punamasi to try to find a plan. Like, hey, Radha doesn't want to see me. Hey, what can I do? He's crying, going down the Jamuna looking for her. Is at Govardhan, looking here and there. So they can give him a flavor of love which seems to neglect him. They don't care for him. He tries all his jokes, same things that he did previously. Doesn't work, So these ways of love, sometimes it seems that the abode of love is on top and the shelter of love is below. But it's a beautiful dance. With us here, we can threaten Krishna. So if you say, I won't chant today because it's not ideal. It's not ideal, yeah. Yes.
Also, when a devotee tries to forget Krishna, then Krishna often doesn't let him. I remember I once spoke to a devotee, he told me how he took a break from Krishna consciousness and went to a pub, and who comes in? The Sankirtan devotee.
Oh, it's like, oh no. Yeah. But there's a story told by Kadamba Kannar Maharaj about also a devotee in Vrindavan who thought, enough of this, I just want to forget Krishna. And he went, and somehow or the other, he had even some sort of amnesia, like Krishna helped him. He forgot. And at some point, even himself, he had a similar situation, how he got together with a lady who had a dog named Krishna. And then he was chanting Krishna like anything, chasing the dog. Krishna! In one sense, Krishna is like, also doesn't let us go. So we tell people sometimes, and devotees, if you don't try to complete it this life, it's not like you've escaped Krishna. Because also in your next life, still, to get out of here, you'll still have to come back and chant Hare Krishna. So just do it now while you have the chance. Don't postpone it. Krishna. That is so nice, right? That he also, he never doesn't give up on us. Even if we try to run. Yes, Kripasan.
Thank you, Maharaj. Regarding this verse in the Bhagavad Gita, that hardly one knows me in truth, often when I hear this verse, I'm asking myself, and I want to use this opportunity now to ask you, because it sounds, on one hand, it sounds also kind of challenging from Krishna, that it's rarely achieved, nearly impossible. It's like, go for this. This is my
Yes, you've already started laying the foundation. Yes, Krishna wants to be known. And therefore Prabhupada would use the word canvassing. He's come to canvass, advertise who he is, what are the obstacles between us and him, the relationship. And ultimately to be known in truth, as Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's expressed that Krishna is saying that love, which is crippled by knowledge of his majesty and supremacy, doesn't please him. as much. It's almost like Krishna is, I'm more pleased by the loving chastisements of my associates than the reverential hymns of the Vedas. So it's one truth, Krishna is Bhagavan, supreme controller. But that, to know him at that level doesn't really touch Krishna's heart. So it is a truth of his position, but to really know him fully in truth is to know him without these conceptions of awe and reverence. So in the sweeter relationships, he's trying to invite us, for friendship, parental, conjugal. And yes, it's a challenge because it's almost like reverse psychology. Some of us get inspired. Oh, you see, it's rare. It's rare to achieve you. It's difficult. Hardly one. I want to be that person who can. Yeah, it's true. Many people, they'll tell you, it's not so many brahmacharis anymore. The dying species or something like that. And for some brahmacharis, this is inspiration. Like, okay, let's show you that it's doable. Let's inspire you like that. So in that sense, yes. Even his friends, Krishna is racing them. You can't catch me. And therefore the boys, they practically want to break their legs to catch him. That's one consideration. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for these contributions. Yes. Kanchara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Jai Vancha Kalpataribhascha Kripa Sindhu Bheva. And Krishna, how he was just laughing. At that time he left Vrindavan thinking, no, this Hare Krishna is not now. I can't say it.
That was he after he was in Vrindavan.
Yeah, he went to Vrindavan and he tried to stay not there too much. And he just going, so that's my life and enjoy.